name is Anna, and I'm a first-year medical student at FIU. I started my undergrad at Miami-Dade College because I moved to the U.S. Like 5 years ago, and then I started there before I could like actually be a Florida resident, and then I did 2 years there, and then I transferred to FIU for my junior and senior year. So I just graduated from FIU with my bachelor's. No, I didn't take a gap year. I graduated in May and I started med school in August. Well, the application, usually people start their dedicate like, I would say like a year to their application process, some people more. The first thing is always like the MCAT, so you study for the MCAT first. Some people dedicate more time than others. If you take a gap year, you can dedicate the whole gap year to study for your MCAT, or you can start when like right before you graduate. You want to make sure that you have like a good amount of clinical hours, either working at a hospital, at a clinical practice. I worked at a pharmacy and like I shadowed a bunch of doctors. So you're also expected to have some research exposure. Some people build that over their whole undergrad, but a lot of people don't like research. Like research can be very boring for some people. So some people start in their gap year. So they just do a lot of research in their gap year. You're also expected to have a good amount of hours of community service. And when you apply to med school, you have to put all of that in sort of like a form that you have to fill out and submit that at least, I think it's at least a good amount of months, like at least 6-7 months before you actually are going to begin med school. The whole application process, considering everything, it can take like a year and a half.
Yeah. So how did
well, a lot of it was like support, of course, from my parents. I was living at home with my parents, so that was it. Like I didn't have to, you know, like get my own meals. My mom always cooked for me. She's always been super supportive. She would help me study sometimes. My dad also would help me study sometimes. And then I guess I was just very motivated to just start because I started undergrad wanting to do something completely different. So I decided to go to med school like end of sophomore year and beginning of junior year. So that's why I didn't want to take a gap year. So I was like, I just want to get this over with. And I think that motivation is what drove me to just like do everything.
Yeah.
But I do recommend that people take a gap year. Some people in my class have taken 2-3 gap years. And you can tell that those people are a lot more like at ease with everything. They're more mature, they have more experience. So I would definitely recommend to take a gap year. I think, well, yeah, so at first, I always wanted to do something with like humanities from school. So I was like maybe law school or just like teaching. So I started as a philosophy major, and then when I decided that I wanted to go to med school, it was just like my dad, we were just talking about when he went to med school in Cuba. And he was just telling me about a professor that he had, and the professor was just like very inspiring, and she was a woman, of course. She was like a younger woman, and she was just very good professor. She was very nice to everybody, to her patients. And I don't know why, like in that moment, I was like, maybe that's who I want to be. I was always sure that I wanted to do something for people and work with people, but I didn't know, I was never sure what it was. So in that moment, I was like, okay, I think that's who I want to be. I would say, like, even though there's so many things we know we have to do, still, I would recommend to someone to still manage to tie that up into like your own story. So just don't do things just to do them and just to like put them in your application. For instance, if you just happen to be interested in like oncology or like pediatrics or whatever, try to do your volunteering in like pediatrics. Or if you're interested in like, there's a lot of people that are interested in surgery from the get-go, like they always knew that they wanted to be a surgeon. Like try to maybe shadow like an OR or go to Baptist. Baptist has a lot of good programs. If you do research, try to tie it. I know it's hard to find research opportunities, but try to somehow find something that relates to your interests. First, because when you submit an application, they want to see someone that has like a very true, like genuine motivation for medicine. So if they see that everything ties up into who you are, you're most likely to be accepted. And also because you want to enjoy the process. This is so stressful, and you have to go to classes that sometimes you don't like. You have to like talk to a lot of people, so you want to enjoy the most you can. So I would say at first, especially med school has, like, all of us, of course, we like challenges. We're like doing well. We're like overachievers. So you run into a lot of people that are, especially people that want to do something competitive. They're like very I don't want to say obsessed, but they're very like focused on getting like the highest grades, and that whole environment for me at first was very difficult to digest, because I would see everybody just studying, and I've never been like that. I've never been very like I don't want to say obsessive, but yeah, I've never been super into just like focusing so much on school. I'd rather just like enjoy it, be relaxed, and then I just retain information better. So being around that people like that, they're so disciplined, and like they have such a strict routine, and I admire them so much. I thought I had to be like that as well. So like my first exams, I would try to be like that and study with them, and eventually I realized that I just can't. I just have to like accept who I am and like mold how I am to my study habits, and that helped me do better in school and be happier to like enjoy med school more. But yeah, at first it's gonna be very stressful. It's gonna be like very overwhelming, but it will pass. It will go away. And if you surround yourself with like good friends and good people, it will make it so much better. Well, it's different for everybody for sure, because most of our classes are mandatory, but the most like bulky classes, which is like hematology oncology, for example, like the classes where the content is more dense, those are not mandatory to go, and they record them. So a lot of people go to class, and for those people, they just go to school from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Sometimes we have other classes until 5. But I like watching the recordings and like play them faster so that I can watch them faster and take notes, and that just helps me. So usually I'll still try to wake up at 8 just to like seize the day. Sometimes I'm not successful, but I try to do that. And at first there's an app called Anki, which is just flashcards. So I do that in the morning, and sometimes you have like 500, sometimes you have 1,000, like it's crazy. Yeah. So I just go through that in the morning, and then they usually post their recordings at like 1 or 2. And at that time, I watch the recordings, take notes. Most of the times after watching the recordings, there's like third-party resources that explain the same things we're learning, but just from like other people. So I try to watch videos like that to like consolidate the information in my head. And then I usually go to the gym. I do the rest of my Anki cards at the gym, like in the treadmill or something like that. And I try to go to bed early. Usually I can't, but I try to go to bed early so that the next day I can do the same thing over again. I think, well, I prioritize that a lot. I know that a lot of people don't, which I don't recommend, because it really makes you so miserable, and med school is long. You dedicate every single hour of your day to that. You see the same people every single day, so you might as well just at least try to get along with the people around you. And so I've always prioritized that so much. I love going out with my friends, going out with my family. That's like the main thing for me. Even if I know I have to study so much, at least go out with my parents or something, or just talk to my mom about something that's not school. Because when you go out with your med school friends, in any way you end up talking about school. Like you will. It's normal. Or like to my undergrad friends that didn't end up going to med school, try to do that as well. And at the gym, honestly, I just study at the gym. Like I do treadmill or Stairmaster or whatever, and I do my flashcards there. But I know there's a lot of people that just use the gym as a escape to relax. So you can definitely balance it out. You just have to work on time management, and especially don't take it extremely seriously, and that way you're gonna be relaxed, you're gonna retain information better, you're gonna be more at peace with everything, and you're gonna do better, like, as a whole. Yes. I wish I could say no, and I wish I could say it's actually not that bad, but it is. It's just a very long exam. You have to dedicate a lot of time to it. As I said, a lot of people take a gap year or two, so they dedicate time to study for the MCAT there. They take like full length practice exams because the exam is like 8 hours long. And I really didn't do a lot of that. I should have for sure. But if you're actually doing things how you're supposed to do it, you dedicate a lot of time to study. And then in the moment, I've heard from people that even if they study a lot for the MCAT, they still get so nervous in the moment because it's so many hours, you're hungry, you don't even have access to your phone to like contact any, if you want emotional support, you don't have that, like, it's just, but it prepares you to how things are gonna be in the, like, in, when you take other exams in the future in med school. Like, you have similar exams like that when you're in med school, to the MCAT, not as long, but as tedious. So it prepares you for that. So I'm kind of glad that I had that experience, but it was very stressful in the moment. I would say there's this guy on YouTube called Organic Chemistry Tutor.
Oh yeah.
He's great. I love how he explains things. Now, looking back, I wish I had used. There's this guy called Medicalis Professionalis or something. It's more medical, so it's I guess more tailored for med school. But he also has, I think, MCAT videos or things that are in the MCAT. I also use my Kaplan. I don't know how to pronounce it. The books, the textbooks.
Yeah.
I got those used from someone, and I got them super cheap compared to online where they sell. You have to buy the course and the books. And I'm more of a physical book person, so those were super useful for me. And then the practice exams on AMC website.
Yeah.
I don't remember if you have to buy them or not. I don't remember, but those are, of course, you must do at least 4 before your MCAT, and those are very useful. And I think I also use like some type of question bank, but I don't remember which one. But definitely practice question. UWorld, it was UWorld. But I just did the cheaper version, which was like a month or something like that. Which I wish I had paid more and do a longer Q bank. But yeah, that for sure. So like question bank, books for content review, and full length practice exams.